A lot of people just went bananas when the Associated Press was kicked out of White House briefings because again we have lived in this age where a lot of this legacy media, the AP, remember the UPI? I remember the UPI because of the college football polls. There used to be an AP poll and a UPI poll. One was the coaches poll, one was the press poll. Right? I remember. Anyway, the UPI, the AP, a lot of these legacy medias, Reuters, Bloomberg, you know, the usual suspects. Have people have thought that these were reliable sources of information and they were right down the middle and were telling the truth. And this is why a lot of people are freaking out. People are losing their mind thinking that, oh, you all you tinfoil hat conspiratorialists, you don't read. Fact is that we do read. Fact is that we do read and then we wait. We read and then we wait to see what the real truth is. But the real truth always comes out. Here is why the Associated Press, of course, they claim to be an objective journalism outlet, and they have wire services to hundreds of news outlets around the country. So when you see a story on your local newspaper, or in your local newspaper, or you see a story on your local, television station, and you see the same stories, well, because they go to the AP wire service and that they all subscribe to, and they all do the same stories. And that's on purpose. So you get to hear it again and again and again. And because you hear it again, it gets confirmed in your mind that it must be true. Because we hear all the time, well, everybody's saying so. Well, I heard it on the news, and then I read it in the paper, and then I heard it on another newscast. So they all are saying the same thing. They're all saying the same thing because the AP puts out a story through their, and everybody subscribes to it, and then everybody regurgitates it. That's what's going on here. Now, that's what wire service is about. Hundreds of news outlets across the country. They just got caught publishing another fake story, fake news, right? This time it's about the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Gabbard is in India on an official trip and expressed that President Donald Trump is very good friends with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. All right. The Associated Press took that quote and stated that Trump was very good friends with Russian President Vladimir Putin as talks to end the war on Ukraine are ongoing. Now, mistakes get made, but really, you're supposed to be one of the premier, if not the premier, news agency in the world, and you make a mistake and say, "Oh, very good friends with Moody or Moody," as opposed to Putin. So they ran with that story. After publication, dissemination online, like I talked about, to all their outlets and its feeds, after it gets out to everybody, after it gets down to your local ABC local news, right? Your local newspaper, the AP went, oh, oh, sorry, we got that wrong. They withdrew the story. Here's what they wrote. The Associated Press has withdrawn the story about the U.S. Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, saying President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin are very good friends. Gabbard was talking about Trump and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The AP will publish a corrected version of the story. Yes, they waited until that poison got out everywhere. And then they said, oh, my bad. some of us will think, well, that was a mistake. People are human, mistakes happen. And then some of us will put on our tinfoil hats and say, these kind of mistakes don't happen or should not happen with somebody who is screaming and yelling and stamping their feet that somehow that they don't have a place in White House briefings, which are not guaranteed, which did not really affect their freedom of speech or freedom of the press. Because if that was the case, then all of us who do this should be banging at the door at the press conference, at the presidential press conferences or the every day saying, why can't we get in? Why can't we get our questions answered? Why just some people? Why just the AP? Why just the New York Times? Why just the Washington Post? Why just Wall Street Journal? Why not Fight Back Media? Why not the Swanson Report? I like it that they've decided to reserve a seat for people who do this, but it's only one seat, only one set of questions. Maybe there should be more. Alex Henning on Twitter wrote, the AP is total trash. DNI at Tulsi Gabbard was referring to, of course, Prime Minister Moody and President Trump, and this is the headline. No, this is why no one trusts the maliciously incompetent and purposefully biased media. If this isn't a clear example of pushing a solely political narrative, oops, nobody believes you. Nobody believes you. Over the past week, Gabbard has been traveling through Asia on an official trip to bolster U.S. economic and national security ties in the region, by the way. Like I said, I don't read comments very often, but these comments in Town Hall, the first two, I'll read it. It's pretty funny. BNet writes, AP editor to bosses. Has the damage been done yet? Bosses. Yep. Good to go with the retraction. On page 32, at the bottom, in small print. And then 1012 responds 39 minutes later, says, soon after, AP employed scribes. Retractions, we're quitting. Because you know that there are people who work for the AP who are like, we're not retracting that. Because what they're trying to do more than anything is damage this president, which they say they're not. But we see example after example when they're trying to do just that. Just that. Well, hey, y'all. I've been doing this for a long time. And I have never really said that this is a large platform because it's not. It's what I call a micro platform. And I've had some success with the program, not as much success with the YouTube channel, and that's fine. It's fine, especially because of the kind of content that I like to produce. And I often look for help in producing content. When you go through all the gurus. And one piece of information that I got recently was, why don't I ask you the kind of stuff that you want to see? Now, I can only do it in the way that I do it, but what do you want to talk about? If you look at the screen on that's in front of you, you'll see that I covered things like Obama's version of Doge, Trump wins the budget battle. Here's the girl who got hit in the head with a baton, all sorts of stuff. My thoughts on daylight savings time. Here's something that I find a little bit disturbing. This right here, this is an AI picture of Jasmine Crockett and her outrageous claims about Trump. That's the biggest video in the past 10 days with almost 2,000 views, 66 times bigger than all of the rest, and the lowest approval rating as far as likes go of any video that I've had in a year. So there's lots of negative comments there, which is fine. I don't care. I'm not hiding the negative comments, but that sort of shows what's happening here. And then if you continue to look, Trump's smaller government plan, economic fallout. I was right about Zelensky. There's some more global politics being revealed. The truth about pilot DEI. I wanted to talk about that because anyway, that conversation bothers me. RFK gets confirmed. The trans Oklahoma video from my friends the Bats. You can see, we cover a bunch of different kinds of things, But what I want to know is, what do you want to hear about? What do you want to hear about? Here's what you can do. Send me an email this week at fightbackmedia@gmail.com. Fightbackmedia@gmail.com. That's fightbackmedia@gmail.com. What do you want to talk about? What do you want us to talk about? What do you want me to research? What do you want me to comment on? What do you want me and my friend Paul Swanson up in Wisconsin, the dairy state, who mentioned that they're the dairy state and there is a 274% tariff on dairy products from the United States, Wisconsin, into Canada. You can see Canada from his house. It's across Lake Superior. If the earth wasn't curved, sorry, flat earthers, you could see Canada from his house. 274% on milk. That means the dairy state, Wisconsin, gets charged 274% to send their milk across Lake Superior. So when we talk about tariffs, we could talk about tariffs. We could talk about ridiculous spending. We could talk about Obama. We could talk about Trump. We could talk about Trump's missteps. We could talk about Tulsi Gabbard. We could talk about whatever. Send me an email at this email address right here on the bottom of the screen, fightbackmedia@gmail.com, fightbackmedia@gmail.com. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about what you want to talk about. Looking forward to hearing from you. What we have seen, I think, in this particular election cycle with the re-election of President Donald Trump is there is an expectation of some economic changes because people are, suffering with inflation and that kind of thing, gas prices, all that stuff. But I think people are also tired of the social side. They're looking for a social shift as well. And part of that social shift is this whole trans idea, which has been a disruptor. And to be honest, it's been a disruptor even in the LGBT community, even in the homosexual community. It's been a disruptor, and it's been a disruptor for a very good reason. And if people are going to be honest, it has to do with the trans movement actually talking about children, actually accessing the children. A lot of people who consider themselves gay are like, people had almost forgotten about and don't care about, oh, you're gay. I don't care. But now the pushback is a lot harder because people were fine until you started messing with their children, until you openly started messing with their children. This is a video of a school board meeting that you're going to want to watch. This is some mom talking about what her daughter has gone through and in the bathroom and in the locker room. And let's see what you think about. Let's see what you think about it. Please comment in the comment section to see what you think about it. If this was your kid, what would you say to them?
Our next participant is Nicole Georges.
Hello, my name is Nicole Georges, and I'm here to demand that the locker rooms and bathrooms at District 109 be designated as biological male and biological female, as there already is a gender-neutral option. The girls want their locker rooms and bathrooms back. They want their privacy back. This is why I'm here tonight. My 13-year-old daughter's well-being and mental health and privacy is at stake. This nightmare began on February 5th when my daughter was using the girls' bathroom and was stunned that a biological male student was using it as well. She came home frightened and was extremely upset. I asked her to talk with her teachers and find out more information. She was told by the administration that a student can use the bathroom as well as a female locker room because they now identify as female. I was sent an email to the teachers involved and received a call from Principal Wegley. He verbally reiterated that under Joanna Ford's direction and their legal counsel that the student could use both the locker room and bathroom. I expressed that the school was in clear violation of federal policy. The Trump administration issued an executive order restricting biological males from participating in sports and accessing female locker rooms. That day, I filed a civil rights complaint on behalf of my daughter with the Department of Justice. It has now been referred to the Department of Education. A federal complaint has been filed with the district to protect the students. The situation went from bad to worse. A few days later, the male student was present in the girls' locker room. Feeling violated, the girls made the choice to not change into their PE clothes with a biological male student present. The next day, Assistant Principal Kathy Van Treese pulled the girls into their office questioning them. The same day, Assistant Superintendent Joanna Ford, Kathy Van Treese, and multiple teachers all came into the girls' locker room, making them change into uniform. This went on all week with the addition of Ginger Laugerman. My daughter refused to take part in having her privacy being violated. How dare they? She ran out and called for me for help. Principal Wegley was offering my daughter a new PE class. The answer was no. She is not changing for the remainder of the year, and she is not changing into another class. The girls just want their privacy, and they want their locker room back. There are gender-neutral options. This is my daughter's story and the story of many other young girls who have been forced at the difficult age to do something they know and most adults know is wrong. Do the right thing, Deerfield, and give these girls their locker room and bathrooms back. Allowing biological males to access girls' locker rooms sets a dangerous precedent that erodes the very foundation of female privacy and safety. By making this decision, the school board is not only disregarding the concerns of young female students and making their families, but also establishing a legal and policy framework that will make it increasingly difficult to protect the integrity of female-only spaces in the future.
Now, if it was your kid and this was your school, your kid's school and teacher, what would you say to them? Now, we're talking about, first of all, I don't know how many people out there who have had or taught or worked with middle school kids, especially middle school girls, middle school boys too. Middle school boys are they are too. They just are. I don't know if you've worked with middle school kids. Hormones are raging. Nobody's sure of who they are, where they are, what they're doing. It's people. My friends who taught middle school and taught middle school successfully, I just take my hats off to them because holy crap. Because your great kids are bonkers. your really good kids are bonkers. And then there's everybody else. So if you can do a good job with a middle school kid, you have a gifting, you have you have something that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. But imagine being in that environment and this young girl is in the bathroom, and then there's this guy standing in the bathroom with her. It's a guy, fully intact dude in the bathroom. What? She don't want to see all that. She doesn't even want to even know that that's happening. She doesn't even want to know that's happening. She doesn't want to know. And so the next day they go to the to their PE class and they go to the locker room and it is bad, and it is bad enough for them. It is tough enough for them to change clothes, to pull out of your street clothes and get into your PE uniform, especially at 12 and 13. It's hard enough to do that in a single sex environment. But now you got this dude in there, you got this boy in there. They're freaking out. And they're doing it in this particular venue unnecessarily, because there are, as the mom says, there are gender neutral options. He doesn't have to be in there. He doesn't have to be in there. There are options for him, but he's chosen not to take those options. All they want is, the girls want their locker room. They want their locker room back. And you're going to say, so what if the situation were reversed? Middle school boys? Well, some of them would be like, yeah, baby, check this out. Yeah, but most wouldn't. Most would feel very, very uncomfortable if there was a girl in there. Very, very uncomfortable. Ask a PE coach that teaches boys. Because when that started to happen, when boys started to get female coaches or teachers, PE teachers, that was a thing. The male PE coach could just walk up into the boys' locker room with impunity. But the female coach would have to send somebody in, a male teacher. Oh, I need to see so-and-so. Go in the boys' locker room and get him for me. Why? Because 13-year-old boys, for the most part, are every bit as sensitive as 13-year-old girls in that aspect. So if you're going to say that, this whole transgender thing is a thing, if you're going to say that, then you've got to provide options for developing kids. You have to provide options, and they have. And when this other kid decides that they're not going to use, this boy's not going to use these options, something's got to be done. Because again, like I said before, there's been this transition, and the transition is this: people expect these things to be handled. When the mom mentions that there's an executive order, part of the whole Trump thing, and this is why people are yelling, is they expected this big social shift as well. Now, are they going to get it? I don't know. Only if people speak out like this mom did. My name is Willie Lawson. This has been the Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of FightBackMedia.com, 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 and FightBackMediaTV.com. Until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody. And for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.